Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Fire Red with only one Regice was a fun Christmas run. Let's follow that up with one that you guys picked on Patreon. Today's the day that we figure out, would I be able to beat Pokemon Platinum with a team of only Bug-type Pokemon? I have to say, I really don't know how this is gonna go. I'm pumped for it, I really like the Bug types in this game, and I feel like Gen 4 is the first game where we have quite a few decent Bug-type Pokemon to pick from. It's just not an easy type to work with, though. We're not going to have very much type variety, and a lot of our Pokemon are caught based on the luck of what we find on honey trees. This is probably going to be a pretty hard one by team run standards. Like always, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. Well, I don't even know what our team is going to be, since it's really dependent on what the honey trees give us. I think we're going to win, but it might be really difficult. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Bug-type Pokemon. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Turtwig with Heracross so that we could do the whole run with it. There's a lot of Pokemon that I could have started with, but I decided on a Heracross. I wanted Burmy, but it doesn't start with any attacking moves, wouldn't be a good decision. So while we travel, I can pick up Kricketot really early on, and I'm gonna do that, but it's a pretty terrible Pokemon, so it's probably not gonna stay on the team. I don't know if I'm ever gonna use it. I'm just hoping that Heracross has an easy time at the Rock Gym, but I'm pretty sure I'll have to get to level 19 for Brick Break no matter what. I decided to start with Heracross because it's pretty rare to get out of the honey trees, and thanks to these videos being made on a pretty strict time limit, the chances of me naturally finding one in time for it to be useful are pretty low. Whereas stuff like Burmy or Combee, they're more common, and we're more likely to actually get enough of those naturally. Now I'm gonna go get some levels real quick, catch a bunch of Wurmple until I have one that can become a Dustox, then I'm gonna try and get past some of these early fights. The faster we do that, the earlier we can get honey and start slathering it on some trees. I'm not really interested in Beautyfly since we're already gonna have a lot of that type combo, and if it were night or early morning, then I could catch Kricketot right now, but that Pokemon's awful. Maybe I'll go back and catch one when I can? I don't know. Naturally, our rival was really easy. Heracross is just a really high attack Pokemon for this early in the run. I'm gonna need to grind a little bit more to get a fighting move for the Rock Gym, though. Well, there we go. As soon as we got Brick Break, we can easily one-shot sweep the entire Rock Gym. Now let's go get some honey. Okay, so a lot of the better Pokemon we can get this run are from honey trees, but what we get from them is totally random, and we have to wait real-life hours before we can see what they've caught. Not only that, but there's a lot of travel involved, so realistically, I'm not going to be able to check them very often. All I can do is try and stay on top of putting honey on the trees, and then checking them when I need to while I'm trying to run around and make progress. We have a decent bunch of Commander and Gym fights coming up, and I'm really holding out hope that I can get a decent Pokemon from the trees before I get to the Ghost Gym, but even if we do get something really good like a female Combee or Burmy, we still don't have any great answer for the Ghost Gym. I think that one might be hard no matter what, but who knows, maybe we'll end up brute forcing it with Heracross with something like Aerial Ace. I hope that it doesn't come down to that because I do worry about the burn at the start of the fight, but we'll see when we get there. I do think that most of the fighting on the way there will be easy though, and once we're past Hearthome, then we can catch a new Pokemon that does not require honey trees, and it's a good one. Let's go make some progress. So first is Mars. Our underleveled Dustox took out our Zubat just fine thanks to it getting confused, and Purugly was just a one-shot with Brick Break. This is a good start. After that is the Grass Gym, but we can sweep it with Aerial Ace. I wonder why it is that Heracross even learns this move. Like, game balance-wise I can understand it, but I don't see why a Steg Beetle has a flying move. After that is Jupiter, and this one was a bit harder. The Zubat could take out our Dustox thanks to us being too low of a level, but it was Skuntank with the accuracy drops that was more of a problem. Still, it was a first try. Now the Ghost Gym took a few tries because we got burned the first time, but it actually wasn't too bad. I thought that it might go badly because of Confuse Ray, but we lucked out. Can I just say that these damage ranges are wild? I really didn't think Mismagius was going to be a two-shot. Maybe the first hit was near the bottom of the range and the second was near the top, because it looked like a pretty big difference in damage to me. And last for this little boss rush is our rival, who hardly does any damage to us. His flying type used Double Team instead of using a flying move, and his fire type used Leer instead of a fire move. I mean, with decisions like that, how could I have lost? Hey, it's time for 2 new Pokemon. First up, I got Scyther. Ours has a jolly nature for more speed and less special attack, so a pretty solid nature. Now in retrospect, I really wish I enabled the impossible evolutions in the randomizer so that I could turn Scyther into Scizor, but I forgot. You know what else I forgot though? Fast Distortion World, so I actually have to do that whole thing. It's way too late to go back and remake the ROM now though, so I'm just gonna have to put up with it. I also went ahead to the Great Marsh to pick up Yanma. It's the Safari Zone for this game, so I just caught like 6 of them and picked the best one. None of them looked amazing, but this one had really high attack compared to the rest, and its stats are otherwise pretty good, so I figured that it's probably got some decent IVs. Yanma's more of a special attacker, but the attack and special attack isn't super far apart anyway, so I figure this should be fine. Now I'm gonna go try and level them up a bit fighting trainers and then get to the fighting gym. Well, the fighting gym was really easy. Aerial Ace for the first couple Pokemon and Brick Break for the Lucario. It really is crazy just how good Heracross is. I swear, any challenge run where I get to use a Heracross, it ends up being the star of the episode. We're not even over-leveled or anything. We're about the same level as them, and we still hit so hard. Hey, check it out! On our way to the first rival fight, it was finally time to check the honey trees. I went around and checked a bunch of them just for a lot of duds, but on one of them, I got a female Combee. Docile is neutral stat gains, and at this low of a level I can't really know if the IVs are any good, but I'm just happy that I got one. It's going to be a really great Pokemon whenever it evolves, so I'll slap an experience share on it right away. It really is a shame that our bugs can hardly learn any HMs though, because I think we're going to have to be playing without a full team for a lot of fights in this run. Thankfully, this was the last bit of work for the night, so I went to sleep, got up in the morning, checked the trees again, and we got 3 Burmy. 2 were female, so I just picked the one with the better nature, and the male one had a decent enough nature to be worth using. Now the male one is gonna turn into a Mothim, that's just how it works, but the female one will turn into a Wormadam that's either part grass, steel, or ground, depending on where I evolve it. I'm gonna go with ground because we don't have a ground type on the team, and I think teaching an Earthquake might be pretty strong. After a bit of leveling up our new Pokemon, we had an easy time with our rival, although I don't think that we could have won with just Heracross this time. Being double weak to flying types is finally starting to matter, and that's why Scyther had to start the fight. I could see flying types being a much more serious issue later in the run. Next is the water gym though, and this is where our free ride we've been getting ends. We're a little under-leveled on our whole team at this point, and Heracross can't handle them alone. We can take out Water Onix with a well-timed counter, but Floatzel is just too much for the rest of our team to handle. The real problem is that we have a level 36 Heracross that's about their level, but the Scyther is level 29 without nearly as strong of moves. Everyone else on the team is so new that they're a way lower level, so I think I'm gonna have to go grind against wild Pokemon for a little while. Maybe once most of the team is level 30, then we can win this. Alright, so after a while, I made the new minimum level of the team 30, and that involves evolving a few Pokemon. It's really not that bad now, though. Close combat on Heracross does crazy damage, and Vespiquen has Toxic and Heal Order, so I can stall while waiting for Poison to do damage against Quagsire at the end. After that is Cyrus, and although his flying types are still pretty hard-hitting, the first Cyrus fight is rarely too much of a problem. Yanmega has ancient power and pretty high special attack, so we're able to hit pretty hard against him. Rock is actually good against most of his team, so I'm hoping that Yanmega will be our answer for him as the game goes on. I'm hoping that Wormadam will be able to help more as it levels up too, since it's got ground moves. Let's try and level it up on the way to the Steel Gym. Before that though was our rival, but he's still pretty easy. He's got his Infernape fully evolved now, so it hits super hard, but as long as I'm careful with softening him up and then finishing him off with Heracross, then it's a really easy fight. His Heracross didn't even last a single round against us thanks to Aerial Ace hitting so hard, and that double type advantage is just brutal. Man, sorry, I feel like my voiceover sounds weird right now. Sorry if I sound weird right now. I've been having some neck issues and it's causing some crazy tightness in my jaw. I hope that doesn't sound too annoying on the recording. And naturally, the Steel Gym right after was crazy easy. Earthquake destroys Magneton, the Steelix can get whittled down with Earthquake and Brick Break, and the Bastiodon at the end ended up being a one-shot thanks to a crit. Way too easy. I gotta say, despite our team not being a very high level, we're doing a pretty good job. We got a few good moves, some decent variety in our different kinds of Pokemon, and of course, a Heracross to do the heavy lifting. I figure the upcoming Ice Gym won't be too hard thanks to having some good fighting and rock moves, but I think that our low levels are really gonna bite us going into the Cyrus fights. Maybe the next one won't be so bad, but you know the Distortion World one will be. Okay, this is what I was worried might happen. The Ice Gym was easy until we hit Frostlass, who has Blizzard, and it hits incredibly hard. Because it's already hailing from Abomasnow, that Blizzard can't miss, and she has a boost to dodging moves. Most of our team is an entire 10 levels lower than her, so I think it's safe to say that I really need to boost up the levels on my team before I can make any progress here. Alright, so I candy the team up to around where they're at. Sneasel goes down to Yanmega, but we nearly fainted in the process. But thanks to having a flying type out, she sent out Frostlass before Abomasnow, meaning that the never-ending hail hasn't started yet. We still faint, but Heracross came out, she missed a Blizzard, and we hit Aerial Ace, critting to take her out. This is already so much better. Piloswine was a one-shot with Brick Break, and so was the Abomasnow right after. It's crazy how much better the fight went as soon as the Frostlass got sent out early. Next is the second Cyrus fight, but as soon as the Crobat comes out, we easily faint one by one. It's crazy how dangerous one strong flying type can be. Then again, this is basically his Heracross, so it makes sense that it's pretty much the brick wall for us. I think I'm gonna have to keep leveling up the team and trying until we get somewhere. I don't even have my full team on me right now because I keep having to deposit stuff for HM Pokemon, so I haven't even gotten to use our Mothim in any major fight. Not that it would really help us in this fight very much. Alright, well this was a weird next try. I leveled him up a tiny bit and ended up doing way better just thanks to Yanmega being able to land some hits on Crobat, but right at the end we beat Honchkrow when we crit a wing attack twice in a row. I mean, it wasn't necessary. I'm sure the rest of our team could have handled it just fine, but it's always still pretty cool when stuff like that happens. Hey, you know what was weird? The double battle at the top of Mount Cornet was actually really close. Normally this is an easy fight in solo runs, but I guess just because of my team being around the same level as theirs, and with a lot of bad type matchups, a lot of our team fainted. Our rival did extra awful in this fight too, so we probably could have lost this. It was a first try, but I really don't like how it went. I can't possibly see us winning this upcoming Cyrus fight until we level up quite a bit more, thanks to the Crobat. But I gotta go wander through the Distortion world for like 10 minutes first. Alright, so this Cyrus fight is a pretty annoying one. Really, his Water Onix and Crobat are the only difficult Pokemon on his team, but the Water Onix isn't too bad if we use Counter from Heracross. The real problem is that our best answer to Crobat is to have Yanmega use Detect on the first turn, so that we get a turn of our Speed Boost ability, and then we use Ancient Power twice. Sometimes it leaves him with a tiny sliver, but he always heals, then does crazy damage to the rest of our team until we can finally brute force him down. I'm not really convinced that he's within a reasonable damage range that we could two-shot him with Ancient Power, but I still think that we could win. We just need to try until we get Omni Boost from Ancient Power so that he's a two-shot, or until we just get a crit. The Omni Boost is more likely, but considering that either one would save us, and likely make the rest of the fight easy, I don't think it'll be too bad. I've already tried 3 or 4 times. I'm sure I could win this within another dozen tries. Because this fight is just miserable, and it's not necessarily because it took a million tries. I think it was about 10. But it's because of how long every run that looks like it could be a win ends up taking. Like, on one of the runs, we ended up landing a crit and getting an Omni Boost on the first Ancient Power, so I played out the entire run, just to end up losing the whole fight right at the very end when I was a turn away from winning. Then 4 tries later, I got another one where we got the Omni Boost on the first turn, so we had our early knockout, but the rest of the fight went so poorly that in the end we only won while our last Pokemon was in red health. It was insanely close, and a single freeze off those Ice Punches would have made us lose the fight for sure. I'm pretty happy that we didn't need to level up more to win, but every failed try where I make it to the end takes about 5 minutes, so I was here for a while. Now by contrast, the Electric Gym was pretty easy. Between Wormadam using Earthquake and Heracross with close combat, he didn't really stand a chance. I'm a bit worried about the last rival fight though, I'm not sure how that's gonna go. Alright, this last rival fight was crazy. It starts off with Staraptor, so naturally I have Yanmega use Ancient Power. We take a ton of damage, but we get the 2-shot. Second is Infernape though, and although we do decent damage with Scyther, we get 1-shot. Then it outspeeds and nearly one-shots Heracross as we take him out with Aerial Ace. Not a good start at all. Snorlax is a one-shot with close combat, and next is Heracross, who's a one-shot like usual. Roserade is obviously a one-shot as well, but next is his last Pokemon, Floatzel. Well, thanks to it having Aqua Jet, our Heracross gets finished off, so I sent in Vespiquen to use Toxic, just to miss 3 times in a row to faint without landing a hit. That's an 85 accuracy move that we just missed 3 times in a row. That's awful. I tried sending in Mothim, and it just got frozen on the first Ice Fang, so we never landed a hit either. Wormadam took huge damage off Ice Fang, we hit hard with Earthquake, then we got absolutely saved when Quick Claw kicked in and let us go first and finish him off. That was really close considering most of his team are one-shots. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our team. Well, I'm loving our held items, and a few of our stats are pretty good, but I really don't know how I feel about this overall. Maybe Aaron won't be so bad, but I don't really have any answers for a lot of these fights. I figure Lucian might be pretty easy because we have a few good bug moves now, but Flint is probably going to be pretty brutal. I can't really see us winning this run until most of our team is in the 60s, but it's worth trying at this level just to see how far we make it. I'll grab a few quick TMs like Shadow Ball just on the off chance that it helps us, but I don't think that there's much move fixing to be done here. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Bug Trainer Aaron. This one's so much more horrible than I thought it would. The Yanmega at the start just swept our entire team. The only reason we even landed a hit is because he switched to using Double Team for seemingly no reason, but we still couldn't take it out. You know what's the worst part? That Yanmega has an illegal move! He's got Air Slash at level 49, and you don't learn that until 54. It's easily Yanmega's best move in this game since it's part Flying type, and it's a special attacker. Not only that, but his Yanmega also has Speed Boost, so it's pretty much set in stone that none of my team can outspeed him. If I could, then I bet Ancient Power could take him out. I think I'm going to have to get the team up to level 54 and then get my own Air Slash. Then I could probably just use Ancient Power to take him out and Air Slash for most of the rest of his team. Alright, well, leveling the team to level 54 did help, but it didn't exactly make it easy. Despite the double type advantage, Ancient Power couldn't one-shot Vespiquen, so we took some damage. Air Slash did a really good job against most of his team though, so between Yanmega and Heracross, we managed to get a win. How rough that went though makes me think that the rest of the Elite Four probably is not going to go much better. Second is Ground Trainer Bertha. Now this one took a ton of tries to figure out. Right away, we can one-shot Whiscash if we use Close Combat with the Fist Plate, and that means that she always sends out a Gliscor next. I had to try this a ton of times to figure out what Pokemon to send in because Gliscor is a monster. I ended up going with Yanmega to hit Air Slash, and we landed a flinch. Knowing a second one would make her use a full restore, I used Shadow Ball instead. We got burned off Fire Fang, but we took it out on the next turn. Golem is next, so I had Heracross land a one-shot with another Close Combat, then I switched back to Yanmega as Rhyperior came out so that I could Shadow Ball to soften it up a bit. Once we fainted, I just used Close Combat again for the knockout. As Hippowdon came out, I sent in Vespiquen to hit Toxic before we fainted, then I just sent in most of my team one by one to get one shot as Hippowdon's health kept draining. Once it was low, I had Heracross finish it off with Close Combat. I know that didn't look too crazy, but it took me quite a few tries to figure out how I could deal with Gliscor while still having enough of my team left over to handle the Hippowdon later in the fight. Stone Edge is just such a good move at sweeping us. Third is Fire Trainer Flint, and this one was pretty nuts. So Houndoom is obviously a one-shot with Brick Break, but then Flareon came out and Wormadam went first to one-shot it with Earthquake. I figure that had to be Quick Claw considering that we're a pretty slow Pokemon, but then after that is Rapidash and we outsped and one-shot it too. Okay, that absolutely had to be Quick Claw, so I think I just got it to activate twice in a row. Megmortar is next, but we don't pull the triple and we get one shot, so I had to send in Heracross to one-shot it with Close Combat. We crit to take it out, although I don't know if the crit was really necessary, and we got burned off Flame Body, so we can't rely on it as much for the last Pokemon. Thankfully, it's Infernape, and I had a plan. Vespiquen survived a Flare Blitz with only 4 health, and hit Toxic, then we fainted as I sent in Yanmega. I used Detect to waste a turn and get my speed boost while he took more damage, then hit Air Slash to finish him off. That was a first try on the first Elite Four member. Really, I think it was just me getting lucky with Quick Claw though. I'm sure this could have gone way worse if not for that. Fourth is Psychic Trainer Lucian. So right away, X-Scissor just one-shots Mr. Mime, so Gallade came out. Now this Gallade is super dangerous because of its Stone Edge, but here we are on the second try, and we crit an Aerial Ace right away to knock it out, so we actually stand a chance. Next is Espeon, but I stay in and just get one-shot because I wasn't thinking. I switched to Scyther after to easily one-shot it with X-Scissor. I really should have done that in the first place. Bronzong is next though, and it uses some Calm Minds, and starts pretty easily taking us out with Psychic after it full restored. I figured it was going to take out the whole team like that, but after losing both Mothim and Yanmega, Vespiquen was able to finish it off. Last is Alakazam, and we took big damage, but Attack Order was a one-shot. Hey, if it wasn't for that one-shot on Gallade, we probably would have lost at this level. No way we're ready for Cynthia, but I gotta give it a try. Finally, Pokemon Champion Cynthia. Well, first is Spiritomb, and without any great counter for it, I decided to have Vespiquen go back and forth with it, hitting Attack Order. We took a lot of damage, but took it out. As Togekiss came out, though, everything went downhill. I tried starting with Detect and Ancient Power, but it didn't do much, and Togekiss very quickly swept our whole team. This is a Crobat situation all over again, where there's a really strong flying type and we don't have any good way of stopping it. In fairness though, it's a much higher level than most of our team. I'm gonna get up to level 60, that's still lower than some of them, but it should be enough to stay competitive. So I got up to level 60 and gave it a few more tries. Now, I opened by taking out Spiritomb with Scyther by using Swords Dance and X-Scissor. We still took just about as much damage though, so I'm not really sure if we're any better off than the old strategy. The nice part though is that Scyther can do a decent amount of damage to Togekiss before fainting because of the Swords Dance. Yanmega still can't do much damage, but we just hardly survived with 7 health in the end and took it out. After that is Melodic, so I had Heracross overpower it with Mega Horn after Yanmega softened up a little bit. Melodic survived with a Sliver to heal back up, but 2 Brick Breaks finished it off as we got hurt a little bit by Surf. Roserade was a one-shot, but next is Garchomp, and there was nothing we could do. It was faster than us, hit incredibly hard, and Flamethrower was destroying us. Sometimes she uses Dragon Rage for seemingly no reason though, so I at least have hope that her bad AI might bite her in the long run. I have to get to a higher level, but I think that I could possibly win this soon. Okay, level 65. Now Swords Dance is enough that Spiritomb is consistently a one-shot, and Togekiss right after not only gets crit, but flinches too. She heals back up and we can't get a 2-shot though, since she has an Air Slash to make us faint. I had to have Yanmega finish it off, but I made sure to use Detect first to waste an extra turn so I could get more speed. Back out to Heracross for Melodic, and it not only used Mirror Coat so we didn't get hit once while taking it out, but Roserade is obviously still a one-shot. Now it's Garchomp time, and I start with Yanmega, although we were hardly doing any damage. We managed to take a bit of health away before we fainted, and had to send in Vespiquen to use Attack Order. That's when we lucked out big time. She missed Dragon Rage, then followed up by missing Giga Impact, and we got the knockout. I bet only one of those 2 moves had to miss, but if her AI was better, she'd have just been using Flamethrower and taken us out just fine. Last is Lucario, but it's a one-shot with Brick Break, giving us the win. Well, it wasn't easy, and Honey Trees can be a pain, but it was still a really fun run. I love using bug types, and the team runs in general are pretty fun. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon Challenge should be up next week on Saturday, like usual, with Pokemon Red with only one Horsey. I'm actually really excited for that because, believe it or not, I've never done a Horsey run. I don't think I've used it a single time in any challenge video, and I really like that Pokemon, so it's gonna be fun to use. I mean, I hope it's gonna be fun to use. It's Gen 1, so I'm assuming the moveset is gonna be terrible. Maybe it'll be a horrible run, who knows. As always, I'm looking forward to your suggestions in the comments, in the challenge quest section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time, and I really don't want to go long. I'm having some really nasty neck issues today, and I'll talk about that in a second, but first, the $50 supporters over on both the YouTube members page and the Patreon. Thank you so much, Jacob Busby, Javid Kusro, Grayson Fitz, Tara Louise, Alessandra Hedgeblog, Joel Mann, Dark Soul, and Young Smoky VP, who are probably, through these pledges, gonna be paying for my next physio appointment. Much appreciated. All right, people who've been here for a while know that I had some pretty bad issues with my neck back in 2022, and that I've had to do a lot of at-home physiotherapy ever since. You know, I went to a physiotherapist for a while. They sent me home with a whole bunch of things I do at home, and I've just, done it. Sometimes I've gotten a little bit lazy about it, and believe me, there's regrets there, because it gets pretty nasty when I get lazy about it, but I've been quite good about it lately. Unfortunately, back then, one thing the physiotherapist had a very hard time with me is that I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and because of that, I'm really flexible, and my body is prone to overstretching. And I can't know that I'm overstretching while I'm doing it. There's no way of knowing in the moment, because it doesn't hurt while you're overstretching. It hurts really bad like 20 or 30 minutes after and for a long time. Everything gets all really tight and compressed, and you get these burning sensations in your shoulders, and it feels all knotted up, and you start getting like painful nerves firing in your ribs and stuff. For me, it happens on my right side, and then my left hand gets really tingly and awful, and sometimes I get like some tightness. It feels a little hard to breathe. It's brutal. Last night, though, I had a workout. It felt really good. My neck popped on the right side in a spot where it doesn't normally, and it relieved a bunch of pressure I've been having, and I felt so much better that I made a bad decision. I stretched a little bit more after that because I was like, oh, that felt so good. And then like I had a good workout and everything, and I did my neck stretch routine, and I think I overdid it on the right side because I felt all great. And then, I just kind of like go to the bathroom, I do my night routine, brush my teeth. I'm starting to feel a little bit worse, and like some tension is creeping on in my head, especially on the right side. Then I sit down in bed, and I'm gonna pull out my Steam Deck and play a game a little bit, and I realize pretty quickly, I feel really rough. And then I lay down in a very neutral position, and I have this tension creep over the right side of my face, like really hard, and my smelling goes really weird, especially on the right side. And I get kind of like a hot flash over part of my body, and my feet start sweating like crazy all of a sudden. And I just turned to my girlfriend, and I'm like, I feel really rough right now. Keep an eye on me. And thankfully, she was like a nursing student, so she knows what to look up with these things. I pretty quickly figured out, hey, this feels a lot like when I would accidentally overstretch a few years ago. It's in my face, not just in my body. I am getting it in my body, but I was also getting it in my face. And she started looking some stuff up, and yeah, that's almost definitely what I did, is I overstretched. It's just, the thing is, when I had my MRI back in 2022, they said that there was like a little bit of degradation between, I don't remember if it was like C5 and C6. It was kind of in the bottom-ish part of my neck. And that explains why I have these shoulder problems, and it goes down into my left hand because it's on my right side, and all of this stuff. But that doesn't explain getting it in your face. To get it in the right side of your face, it has to be like the top vertebrae, which is around where the pop was, and then after the pop, which was probably a good thing, because every time I had ever gotten a little pop there before, which is unfortunately rare, I would always feel much better, and I did feel much better when that happened. Just my neck mobility got way better. I think it was the stretching right after that my body was not ready for. That was too much. Because, that was brutal. That makes me think, because like even just standing and doing this voiceover, I've done this over the course of 3 sessions now. Because I keep having to go lay down in between a few pages because it's so rough. But I keep having tension creeping on the right side. It's not like Bell's palsy. Like, I'm not having facial paralysis. There's some numbness, there's a lot of tightness, it's kind of like a tight, tense pain, but like I can control my face fine. I can still like smile wide, and it's on both sides. I'm blinking in unison. It's not like a stroke, and it's not like Bell's palsy, but clearly there's some nerves getting clamped or compressed or irritated or something there. And considering I didn't have any problems there when I got the MRI a few years ago, maybe my neck has gotten worse. I don't know. I figure it has to have at this point. I mean, why else would this be happening, right? Unfortunately, in Canada, the wait time for an MRI is like a minimum of 3 months unless it's considered really urgent. Then allegedly it's a month. But even then, they can't even order an MRI until I see my family doctor, and who knows how long that's going to take. Every time in the past I've tried to get an appointment with my family doctor, it took ages. So I don't know, man. It's not even 24 hours from when all this happened. I feel like garbage today, but thankfully, I've already started on the horsey thing and things have gone really well, so at least it's on a light work week, I would say. I'm gonna try my absolute best to get this edited today. Sorry, you guys don't hear it because I edited out. I've been stumbling over my words so bad this whole voiceover because my jaw feels clenched and tight and I can't enunciate. And listen, you've listened to a lot of my voice. You've heard my show for a long time. You know I'm not good at enunciating on the best of days. It's much worse today. Oh man, I was stumbling over my words so much this one. So I'm gonna have to be editing for a while. Normally, when I have these overstretch problems, sitting down is really hard for me. It makes it a lot worse. I usually feel better if I'm either walking slowly in a really good posture, or if I'm just laying down totally flat. Those are like my optimal states. But you know what? Today, the walking went pretty well, and when I was sitting, it wasn't too bad as long as I only sit in like short bursts. So maybe I can get this edited today. It's a Tuesday right now. It is the 16th of December when I'm doing this voiceover. If I have it my way, you guys will have it up on the YouTube Early Access thing and the Patreon thing today, because that's even earlier than I usually get it up, and I like to get it up as early as I reasonably can, just because, I mean, you guys are paying $3 a month for it. I'd feel like I really should be doing my due diligence to get it up as early as possible for you, without compromising the quality of the show, obviously. Anyway, I shouldn't ramble anymore because I should probably go lay down, give my body a little rest, and then, get into editing. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.